What's going on, everybody? Back at you with another video this week. In today's video we're going to be doing a bald fade, and we're going to be doing a little bit higher than usual, so it's almost like a high and tight, but not quite a high and tight. So we're starting off with our MVPs with the 000 blade, and we're going to create our first guideline here. This determines the height of the fade. So here we're using our Andis Masters with the lever all the way open, and you notice it has notches on the side, and I'll explain why it has those notches on the side here in a little bit. So we're going to be creating our next guideline here, and this is what we're going to use to erase that zero line or that 000 line. This is a very important step of the haircut. This is the foundation. I mean, without this, if you don't take it up high enough, or if you take it up too high, you can raise the fade. If you don't take it up high enough, you're going to create a crimped or a small work area for yourself to try and blend out the rest of the haircut. So you want to make sure you take it out up. I usually go about just under an inch, just to make sure I give myself plenty of room to blend the rest of the haircut out. And the notches I was referring to earlier on the machine, or on the clipper, once you have that guideline set, you start closing that notch, the notches notch by notch, until you have it all the way closed. And as you close it more, you raise the machine or the clipper less and less until you have it all the way down blended into that 000. This client also got shears on top, but it was such a minimal trim that I decided not to put it in the video because it wasn't that much, it wasn't noticeable enough to bring you guys the content that you're looking for. You see I stretch the skin out, make sure I blend that line out real good. And like I said, as you close the machine notch by notch, you raise it less and less as to not raise the fade. So here we're using the Andis Magnetic Purple number 2 guard with the lever all the way open, which is the equivalent to a 2.5, and I start cutting against the grain. As you see, I'm almost cutting at an angle, and that's because I'm cutting in the direction that the hair is growing. I'm cutting against the grain. You don't just want to go straight up and down, because you may not catch all the hair. And I begin to close that lever notch by notch until I have it all the way closed, which would be the equivalent to a 2. And here we're using the Andis Magnetic Purple number 1 guard with the lever all the way open, and that is the equivalent to a 1.5, and that blends right into that number 2 that we just created. And we're going to close the lever notch by notch until we have it closed all the way down, which would be the equivalent to a number 1. Here we're using the 0 guard, the Magnetic Purple Andis 0 guard. Same thing, the lever all the way open, blends right into that number 1, and we'll close it notch by notch until it blends all the way down into that half. You can get a real good example here of cutting against the grain. See how his hair grows kind of towards the front? We just use the number 2, and now we have the number 1 guard. So we're repeating the same process on this side. First the number 2, then the 1 guard, then the 0 guard. Also, you see how I left all the hair on the bottom here? You can literally just do a 000 on the bottom, and you would have, just above a shadow. It's not really a shadow, but it wouldn't be a bald fade if your customer requests that. Or you can do what I do here at the end and get the 50 blade and bald it out, and then use a foil shaver. I use an Andis foil shaver and completely create a bald fade. So there's a lot of different ways you can go from here. It doesn't have to necessarily be a bald fade. See here, I'm using my Andis MVPs again, which is the detachable blade clipper, and I'm using the 50 blade to bald out the client. If you don't have detachable blade clippers, I really suggest you get a set. They're phenomenal for knocking down bulk. or in this situation, balding out the clients, or creating the 000 line. I particularly like them for balding out the client because it saves the blade on my edges, and they're much more powerful. So they're really phenomenal when you want to knock down bulk, or if a client requests an all-even haircut. You'd be amazed. I mean, they're so powerful. They knock the hair out, it comes right off. As you can see here, it's just effortless. After this, we'll use the Andis shaver. You can find links to for the description of all these tools and where to find them and more information. And as usual, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Make sure you smash that like button, get active in the comments, subscribe, and share these videos. And as always, I appreciate your time. See you guys next week.